Every summer, communities across Canada find themselves entered into a grim lottery. In this unprecedented wildfire season, it seems any community can be next. Hit hardest of all this summer, the Northwest Territories. By late August, nearly 3 million hectares had gone up in flames. The hamlet of Enterprise, just south of Hay River, was almost completely destroyed. In Yellowknife, around 20,000 people, nearly the entire population, were ordered to get out. Wildfires have always been a part of life in the north, but the size and intensity of those fires are increasing. And that raises the question, are we ready for what's coming? How concerned are you about a major fire event in the Whitehorse Southern Lakes region?
I think the way to look at it is that a fire is inevitable. We often forget as humans, I would say, that our life cycle is shorter than the life cycle of the average forest.
Each fire season now serves as an ominous glimpse of life on a warming planet. A 2022 paper published in the journal Nature predicts the amount of boreal forests subject to fire-prone conditions will more than double by century's end. That boreal forest extends in a massive band across the top of North America, from Labrador to western Alaska. The Yukon alone is home to more than 28 million hectares of boreal forest. And the territory has seen its fair share of wildfires this summer.
Oh, I just got it.
You should pull straight up.
Hunter.
Mayo and Old Crow were both evacuated last month because of wildfires, and some residents of Whitehorse fear this community's time will eventually come.
This is a 1,000-gallon tank. I have another 1,000 in the house, and I have another 1,000 that I keep around the property in the summertime. So I have a lot of volume of water, so if something happens, I can flood the whole roof with water.
Peter Wojtowicz lives just outside city limits. He's outfitted his home with an elaborate network of sprinklers and pipes. He hopes this will save his home if it's ever threatened by fire.
But the bottom line, you got to take care of yourself on that, because if things happen, if there was a fire coming through here, there are a lot of people going to be in trouble here.
Wojtowicz isn't the only one getting ready. Down this road, wildland firefighters have bulldozed a huge parcel of land. They've torched the underbrush that would serve as fuel for any major fire that would pass through here. It's the latest in a series of controlled burns. The idea is to build a line of defense between the suburbs to the north and a massive expanse of boreal forest to the south. South of Whitehorse, firefighters are putting out hotspots. They started this fire to clear out the underbrush in this area that is at high risk of wildfire. Much of the forested land between Whitehorse and Carcross is more than a century old, and fire officials worry that prevailing winds from the south could push a major blaze into the Whitehorse suburbs.
The Mary Lake Shaded Fuel Break is part of the wider Whitehorse South Fuel Break that is being built to defend the city itself from the risk of catastrophic wildfire that we believe to be the most likely in the dense spruce tree forests south of town.
But not everyone in the neighborhood is happy to see smoke on the horizon during this spell of hot, dry weather. Tookie Mercredi has lived in Wolf Creek since 1991. He's originally from the Northwest Territories, and he's watched with alarm this summer as friends and family have had to flee their homes.
If I started a fire, sparks could go into those bushes, and I'll have a fire going really, really quickly. And I don't think we should be, fiddling around like that at this kind of time of the season.
But fire experts say these controlled burns are planned well in advance. They're also needed to help reverse past mistakes. Fire agencies used to focus on putting out every wildfire they could, but that allowed fuel to build up in the woods, only increasing the danger.
I think one of the things that we have to ask ourselves is, if humans didn't exist, what would that forest look like? As we put out forest fires, the forest continues to grow and build fuel in the form of wood, trees and fallen trees that provide more fuel and intensity when a fire does come along.
But work to prevent a major urban wildfire doesn't just happen in the woods, it also happens in government boardrooms. For example, the city of Whitehorse has just hired a fire smart coordinator. The Carcross Tagish First Nation is training its citizens in emergency management. The Yukon and federal governments are funding a lot of this work.
And we all have a role to play. Individuals have a role to play. Municipalities have a role to play. territory and provinces have a role to play, as does the federal government. We're all well aware of that. Climate change is it's not a concept, it's an actual event that we're all struggling with across this country, and it's only going to get worse.
Some of these efforts are simple. For example, the Yukon government is planting tens of thousands of aspen seedlings, kind of like these, all around the city of Whitehorse. Aspen are a native species. They have a higher water content than pine or spruce, and when they're fully grown, their leaves are farther from the ground. All that means that aspen can help slow the spread of a wildfire. If it seems like a low-tech solution, that's because it is. There's no single policy or project that will keep a city safe from wildfire. And even if everything is done right, there are no guarantees. But on our warming planet, that's life in the boreal forest. One day the flames will be here. Only then will we know if we're ready. Chris Windeyer, CBC News, Whitehorse.